and gentlemen, the June 17 meeting of the Economic Development Authority for the City of Lynchburg is now in session. We will do roll call. Please affirm your presence. Bill Lovern.
Here.
John Stone.
Here.
Mark Strohsnyder here. Louise Mitchell.
Here.
Pat Mosby.
Here.
Richard Tugman.
Here.
George Ann Sneed is not in attendance this morning. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the May meeting, May 20th meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those meeting minutes?
Motion to approve as presented. Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. We will go through roll call for the acceptance of the minutes. Mr. Lovern?
Aye.
Mr. Stone?
Aye.
Mr. Strohsnyder is a yes. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Tugman?
Aye.
Motion carries. Second item is the review or the presentation by the nominating committee for officers for the upcoming year. I will turn the meeting over to Ms. Mitchell. She and Ms. Sneed comprise that nominating committee. Ms. Mitchell.
Good morning. Our slate for 2021, July 2021, is Chair Mark, John is Vice Chair, Bill is Secretary Treasurer, and Pat is Assistant Secretary and Treasurer. That's our slate.
Okay, we will be voting on this at the July meeting. That would be the first item on the agenda. So if you have any questions, considerations, thoughts, ponder that between now and July 1, or the July meeting. The next item is the review of the fiscal year 2022 budget. I will turn the meeting over to Ms. Upshur and Ms. Benson.
Okay, you all have a copy of the budget and a not used to that. You all have a copy in your packet of the budget. I think we in either March or February gave you a draft of this, so we have it compared to the 21 to the 22 budget, and happy to take any questions that you have, and Anna, if you have anything else to.
I'll just, so yeah, the Finance Committee reviewed this, I believe in March. And you all you're just reviewing it today, and you'll approve it at your annual meeting in July. So just a couple things. The FY21 and the FY22 budget are very, very similar, so there's not a huge number of differences here. I will just bring your attention to encumbered incentives and incentive payments in FY22. You all have encumbered several additional incentives in the past couple months, and then that also includes a couple unannounced projects that we expect to come before you in the next couple months. So that's why that number has jumped significantly. You didn't really have any unencumbered incentives in FY 2021. The $200,000 in incentive payments is the expected incentive to Tessie Plastics, which is scheduled to finish, I believe, in September in their performance agreement. May or may not be an extension on that, but it's scheduled in your next fiscal year to be an incentive payment that you'll pay out. Other than that, the numbers are relatively similar from last year, and again, happy to answer any questions, or you can bring those in July as well for approval.
Yeah, we're happy to answer any questions between now and the meeting on July the 15th for anybody that's new and needs anything, further explained.
Could I ask a quick question?
Sure.
On the economic development program, the 250,000 seems stagnant. Is there a reason for that?
That is the budgeted amount that comes from the city. each year, so hence the reason it's an amount that City Council approves in our economic development operating budget that we move over for programs that the EDA manages. The local redevelopment grant is the primary piece of that 250, and then the EWI Advanced Manufacturing Initiative is the other piece of that.
It's just the way it is.
That's right.
Exactly.
And it's in we account for it separately. They're actually two different bank accounts for those, for your operating dollars and then the city's piece of that.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else have any questions for Ms. Upshur and Ms. Benson? Again, this is just a review and does not require a vote right now, because this would be an item we'll vote on in the July meeting. Next item on the agenda is a staff report. Ms. Upshur?
Okay. So we, as you know, we have taken over special events for the city. And Anna and Emmeline and Melissa have all done an incredible job. That is something that we're overhauling the process of that and looking at special events much differently, looking at it much more from a revenue generation, tourism, place-making type of lens, right? So that came over to us in December, I believe, and as you might imagine, people have been just kind of pushing up against the door to see when they would be able to have events. And Anna's just gotten a deluge of all of that, and we wait to make sure that from a risk management perspective we can move forward. So the gates are now open. That has been a tremendous amount of work that hopefully one day she will forgive me for. We thought we had it under control. We did not, in terms of just the sheer volume of the work that's there to do. But we have hired somebody. We're really excited about that, and they are going to start next week.
Orientation next Wednesday.
Yeah, orientation next Wednesday. So we're really, really excited about that, and we have interviews scheduled for Krista's position, the graphic design and brand coordinator position. And as you know, hiring is always a process, right? And so we will actually be taking over additional space in City Hall. The space on the second floor where GIS used to be, they are part of information technology, and they have moved out to the center where information technology is now. They've moved in with them, and so we are going to take that space for staff. So that also requires.
Are the hotels back to a full capacity, or are they still?
They're
are
pretty
they
close.
Limited?
They're pretty close. We get weekly updates now from the state of Virginia, just looking at where everybody is, right? But I had a conversation with the Residence Inn last week, and they are like at 75% of their, pre-pandemic capacity. They feel really good about the market. So, yeah, I'd say people are coming back. So I told you the mask requirement for vaccinated employees has been lifted at the city. City Hall is still not open, as you saw when you came in. The retrofits are still continuing. We have worked with a company out of Canada called Grant Match, and they are going to be physically located across the street in the old Tech Hire space, the Hire Lynchburg space, and actually we were able to work with them on that because they're actually going to provide some assistance to the Hire Lynchburg side of it. But I'll be bringing their president to meet all of you all shortly. And really, really, really excited about that. Alicia did a heck of a job from, the initial inquiry from them, which you're always going, is this real? All the way through, and it's been a great, great, great relationship. So we are completing, and I think Mark and Bill are signing the checks, and Richard just asked the question, our local redevelopment program for this year. This is the highest it's ever been, so you think about a pandemic, people have continued on with their projects. My enterprise zone for 2020, I think it broke any record that we've had here. It's probably about 1.4 million went back to the businesses here. That's more than I can remember going back out. So that's really exciting to know. We are finalizing the portal that with Chimera, we're going to have a jobs listing portal. And I hope I don't embellish this too much, but it's something like 900 sites that they go through to check for job listings. And these job listings will be for Lynchburg and the region. So you will actually come to you all's website for these job listings. So we will be, there'll be a big announcement about all that, but I'm really very, very excited because that's a great way for us to participate in the workforce development space. You know, to really boots on the ground and working with employers to make sure that their listings get in there and being able to get, you know, get feedback from them, but actually having a tool that we can use there. So that's been,
Does that so ties to the EC?
no.
So this Chimera thing is essentially an aggregator of all listings that are available
Yeah.
in this area.
Yes.
And it's reaching out to other sites that people might have posted to.
Like
and dragging them all in
900
together.
other sites to cull through there, and then for this region and that portal, right? And we'll be trying to do everything we can to have, you know, all of the entry points, like where people gather, whether it's a, you know, Parks and Rec facility, all the way to, you know, people that might have a headhunter, to know that this portal exists for people to go to. So I can't remember, but Chimera has done this for a handful of businesses across the country.
Right, a handful, Loudoun County is one that's recent, and there are a couple communities in North Carolina, but
Right.
it's been, I think
So we're-
fifth or sixth.
Yeah, so we're,
Is this something that we had to, so Central would have to proactively engage in, or is it something that's automatic, a crawler?
it'll
that
just
goes out?
automatically, but the main thing will just be, we would be able to give you feedback, right? Like we can do, you know, another layer from our side of it to get people to the site and to that type of thing, you know. If there's anything in there that we get feedback on, we would be able to give that to Centra,
Right.
right? Centra won't have to do anything
No,
any
it
differently.
uses your existing listings, both on your website, I think you're one of the sites, I mean,
But to make it
across-
more efficient, it would be
that it's all-
a good idea to interact, and so
Yes.
with whom would we interact in order to make that more?
You can interact
Okay,
with us.
okay, fantastic, thank you.
Yeah. I believe that we will probably be coming to you all in July or August to move the CARES Act money from the checking account for both, I think, the community side of it and the business side of it, with the exception of what we need for administrative expenses. So Kent will have an agenda item to do that. We are working on our brand and the brand campaign that we plan to launch in September. We have residents brought us a marketing strategy about a week, 2 weeks ago. It's fantastic. And this is input from, you know, the business community. John participated. Yeah, so I'm really excited about it because it lays everything out that I feel like when we come out of the pandemic, both to residents, I mean, not both, but residents, visitors, businesses, and talent will really be drawing a line in the sand to tell a better story. And we'll definitely be working with you all as well. Tell a better story about the city of Lynchburg to be a great place to work, to visit, to live, and to have a business. So it is somewhat aspirational in nature, but that's what we need to do. I mean, we've got to get people's attention, and then we got nowhere to go but up when it comes to that. So Resonance has done an outstanding job for us. And we're actually participating yesterday and today in their North American conference that they are one of the big sponsors or organizers of, and they're one of the few groups that really understands the connection and intersection between tourism or destination management and economic development, meaning everything you do to get a tourist here should be the same things that you do to remind your residents and your businesses why this is a great place to be. But they do one heck of a job, and yesterday we were, it's a virtual conference this year. Anna actually presented at their last conference in Los Angeles, but they had the mayor of Greenville, South Carolina, and if any of you have been there and seen what they have done there, it's pretty incredible. And I think Anna was on the call late yesterday for Stockholm, and that too was, there's a real partnership there between the city and, community development and economic development, and then the private sector and the nonprofits, your anchors, to come together to make a place a great place to attract people to and to live in. So it's been really a great conference so far. And a Zoom conference is not riveting, but this has been very good, very good, very dynamic and very good. So, Anna, do you have anything?
I think the only thing is the museum reopened.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
the museum reopened. So exciting. We have moved visitor services from 12th and Church up to the museum. The museum is open 3 days a week. It's open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 to 4. I think Sundays is 12 to 4. The museums was one of the city departments that had to furlough their part-time employees. So when Ted took that opportunity to revamp his job descriptions up there, and he's hired all new folks up there, and those folks will not only do the museum work, but they'll also be part of visitor services. So in lieu of sending people to a center and then sending them to the attraction, they will begin at the attraction. And the only, snafu we had is that, as you all know, or if you don't, the steps leading up to the museum are not for the faint of heart. I'm not just talking about Monument Terrace. I'm talking about the physical steps up into the museum are from quite some time ago and are not even. But they do have ADA accessibility. Unfortunately, the day before they opened, someone ran into the back of the building at the handicap accessible entrance. So we are working feverishly to get that.
Offering curbside service.
We're offering
At the moment.
curbside service, that is correct. If you have any kinds of
Which is-
issue whatsoever. As a matter of fact, we've
Then
already
several
gotten
have
compliments
appreciated. Yes.
that our people came outside and gave somebody anything that they, any brochure or any assistance that they needed. But that was, just full speed ahead into the back of the door, right there by the police department. Anyway, so the museum is open 3 days a week, and that all seems to be going. That's been a big lift for staff as well, for Ted, hiring people and all that.
So what exactly is visitor services and what is still down at the 12th Street little old gas station building.
Right. So that will, we always call that the visitor center. And at the visitor center, you receive visitor services, which meant, directions, brochures, there was merchandise down there. There were people there to help you navigate the attractions in the region and the city. At that physical building right now is still located Lisa and Andrew. They are tourism sales. Their offices are in that building and have been, because we didn't have any room for them up here. So the visitor center itself physically has closed with the pandemic, as did the museum. And so we had no idea what reopening was going to look like, and I felt much more comfortable reopening one place instead of trying to reopen two. So in the interim, when we were doing the renovations to that building, we had been at the museum and offered services up there. So at 12th and Church right now, that building is not open. It is open for Lisa and Andrew to go in and out of. So visitor services, all of the things that were offered down at 12th and Church are now offered at the museum.
Do you see any long-term plans for that
Yes.
building too? Are you at a position to divulge any of that?
No, I'm not. It's still a work in progress. It's a great building, and it looks, it's really beautiful. It's a much more efficient use of personnel, of resources, total resources, to not have people, come to a place, pick up a brochure, and then I send them, to another place. So we'll see, though. It's all, we're gonna revisit everything in August or September to see how all of that is working. But I just think we've just got to, we're going to come out of the pandemic from a marketing perspective and everything. We've taken the pandemic to take how we do things on that side of the house down to the studs. And so we're gonna relook at it and put new energy and marketing. We're gonna have kiosk, informational kiosk at all the colleges and at Centra. So we're really trying to we're bringing the information to people, right? Instead of, we will still have information available, but the CARES Act allowed us to put these kiosks at all of the anchor institutions, and that'll happen in the fall, right?
Yeah.
So how we're deploying information, about the city and everything that we're doing, we're refreshing all of that. There's an awful lot of low-hanging fruit that I think we could tap in terms of revenue generation that we just haven't before. So I'm really excited about how we're going to go about all this. So.
Does anyone have any other questions for staff?
No, sir.
And Ted, do we have any issues to take into closed session?
Well, Jed, do you know of anything?
A couple housekeeping things. The property committee will meet following this meeting. And our next meeting will be July 15th, and that will be the regular scheduled meeting plus the retreat. Ms. Mitchell, you'll be excused from that meeting.
And I just want to say, from a staff perspective, I just want to thank Louise for her service and her leadership. I really have loved having you on the EDA, and you have brought a tremendous amount to the city And I'm just very, very grateful. And I probably won't let you get away on some kind of level. But from the city side of it, I know the authority is grateful too, but I'm very, very, very grateful for you.
And we hope
So thank
everyone
you.
is available. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And we hope everyone's available on the 24th for a little get-together.
We will be seeing
For Louise is on.
on the 24th.
Does anyone have anything else to bring up? Hearing nothing, the meeting is adjourned.